very much.
My name is Myrtle Witbooi, and I'm from South Africa. I'm the General Secretary of the South African Domestic Workers Union, and I'm also fortunate to be the President of the International Domestic Workers Federation in the world. If somebody would have said to me 47 years ago that I would stand in front of you today as a domestic worker, 47 years ago as a domestic worker, I was working in the apartheid South Africa, where we were slaves and had no voice. But I'm not going to speak about that. I just want to show you how strong domestic workers are, how strong we are, how determined we were to free ourselves. So what started 47 years ago has led me to where I am today. Today, we have got a proud federation of domestic workers in the world. We don't have agreements. We cannot sign agreements because we work in isolated workplaces. The only agreement we have is when we speak to our boss and we try to convince our boss that we want better working conditions and we want better salary. But in many of our countries, we do have sympathetic Department of Labor. And we do have that Department of Labor that assist us and help us to have better laws for domestic workers. Yes, I'm very proud of my country, South Africa. We do have some of the best laws in the world for domestic workers. We have a sympathetic government. But what is the point if you have laws on paper and you don't implement it? So this is one of the biggest problems we have in the domestic workers network. 2006, domestic workers came together in Amsterdam. FNV sponsored us. In that workshop, domestic workers become very angry, we cry, we say we want what all other workers got. We want exactly the same because we are workers as all other workers. At that stage, it seems to be an impossible dream. It seems to be not possible. 2008, we came together again. And then we made a decision, domestic workers, we're going to free ourselves. We are going to stand up and we are going to start talking. In 2009, we entered the ILO and we start talking about domestic workers. In 2010, we talk again about domestic workers. I want to say to you today, many employers at the ILO was actually making fun of us. They were laughing at us. Domestic workers can have labor laws in the world. What do you think you are? Some of them even call us that we abuse the old people that we look at. And for us to listen to what they were saying was not easy to sit, as you have to respect the protocol of the ILO. You're not supposed to get angry, you just have to listen. And in the evening we start thinking, we need to shake this building of the ILO. We need to make them realize that domestic workers are there. It's the first time in the history of the ILO that domestic workers was there. And we were going to speak for ourselves. I was very fortunate that my government, South Africa, decided I could speak. Yes, it was a long battle. And when the day when we had the opportunity to speak, we had to make it. Who is building the economies of the world? Who are there when you go up? That 126 government? Who is at their homes now while they are deciding about other people? We are there. We are actually building the economy, yet we don't get recognition. And we were fighting a 25-day battle. We left the ILO 2010. Some of us were sad, but determined. We went back to all of our countries. We started mobilizing in every country possible. We started sitting in front of our governments. We started sleeping in their rain. We started trying to do everything possible to let our government support us in 2011 when we go back to the ILO. We had no negotiating power. We had no agreements that we can sign. We had no employers that say, oh yes, I believe in you. No, the employers were taking it as, it's just something that they're talking about. The impossible. What happened? 2011, we go back. Today we must still thank somebody up there for taking that one employer away that was leading the employers. He was no more there. We had a sympathetic employer that was at least now listening to us. Again, we start all over again. We had to talk about us. We had to convince them that we are important. What happened on the 16th of June, 2011? We've got Convention 189. It was a victory. That day, they gave us back our freedom, our dignity, and our pride that we've been stripped of. But what is the point of having a fancy paper with Convention 189 for all countries to ratify if domestic workers don't understand, if we don't know what that paper means? So it means that we need to start all over again. And that is when it starts with global solidarity, with a global network. That is when it starts when we say, now, we don't want a fancy paper. We don't want a Convention 189 that's meaningless to us. We want a convention that will work. Because if you look at the ILO, you find so many conventions that's just lying there, they're creating dust, they're not doing anything. So we, the domestic workers, we're going to show it, we're going to shake the ILO. We want it to become a reality. And slowly but surely, we start thinking, what next? We need to build a global federation for domestic workers. Again, it's impossible. How can you have a global federation for domestic workers? I mean, some of us can't even read and write. Some of us, but the good Lord has given us brains. We can see. If I can run my employer's house, if I can do what my employers say, I'm going to have a dinner party tonight, you must plan for 20 people, why can't I think? And we start mobilizing. And we start working together. In June 2012, we form the African Network in South Africa with 19 organizations of domestic workers and 100,000 domestic workers. What is our next step? We need to form a global federation. Last year, November, that dream became a reality. And we form a global federation for domestic workers. We unite domestic workers in the world to come together, to speak in one voice, and to free ourselves. Today we have that federation. We've got 300,000 domestic workers, but that's not enough. There are millions and millions of domestic workers out there. Now, here it comes. I like, to always lead with giving people work to do. And I like to also tell people, it's very nice listening to somebody explaining to you about domestic workers, but what are you giving back to the domestic workers? Now the Convention 189 makes it clear. Today, 15 countries have signed the Convention 189. But I can assure you, even in my own country, if I go back to that country, there's many internet labor laws that's not fitting into that convention. So how can you have Convention 189 and your own national laws is not there to meet convention halfway? So we have a big task. We have a very big task. And the one thing that saddens me more is when I get exposed to the Gulf, when I get exposed to our Arab countries, when I get exposed to the domestic workers there, and when I share with them the pain and the suffering of them not having any labor law, how do you take Convention 189 to those countries? You cannot, because they don't even have a labor law that's protecting themselves. They are so strange in so many countries. So when we talk about global solidarity, and when we talk about building a global network, and when we talk about unite, we are saying to those federations, those unions, that progressive organizations, you've got so much. Start thinking about a domestic worker, maybe at your home. Start thinking, how can we build this federation? How can we ensure the domestic workers themselves understand. Yes, they've got a victory. It's the most wonderful convention. It's giving us so much freedom. But if I don't know about this freedom, how can I enjoy this freedom? So, together, we need to make sure. Together, we make sure that we reach all the governments, that we speak to them, that we say to them, it's enough now. We need to free the domestic workers. And we don't want to be slaves anymore. We don't want to be in bondage anymore. We want to be able to walk tall like all other workers. 2 years ago in South Africa, they say domestic work is decent work. My question was, what was it before? I would like to know, what was it before? Now today you come to me, you say, let's celebrate domestic work is decent work. We have done the work that other women don't want to do. Because they don't want to clean their own house. Yes, they provide the income. Some people are saying to us that it's a job and we're paying you for a job. Yes. Some people are saying to us, you are part of the family. How can I be part of your family? If I make the supper for you and I sit there and have a meal, you still expect me to go wash the dishes afterwards. So I'm a part of your family. I'm not a part of your family. I work for you and you pay me. You treat me with respect. And this is what I'm asking standing in front of you. This is what I'm standing in front of you. Help us to build our International Domestic Workers Federation. Go back to your country. Find out who are the domestic workers organizations there. And then together, we can also one day come and we can show you collective bargaining agreements that we made with business, how we should treat domestic workers. And our campaign is now also to have another 50 government-style convention 189. But again, we don't just want a signature. We want it to become a reality. But on my own and on my federation, we can't do it. But together with you and your countries, we can see that domestic workers earn the respect, earn a decent salary, and be able to be united with their families and to walk toward. And this is my message. Believe in us, help us, and we will get there. Thank you very much.